Madam Speaker, I don't want to disagree with the chairman of the Education Committee because he's a seasoned chairman. Even when he was removed, I used to call him the chairman because he understands the education sector very well. But Madam Speaker, we must admit that there is a crisis in our country about the education sector. That we must admit because it is really on the ground, it is happening. Madam Speaker, whether it is by default or design, the transition from, is it junior or whatever it is called, to senior, Madam Speaker, was never done properly. One teacher per school, no classes. The Ministry of Education on their own, said that almost 200,000 students have not transitioned to junior secondary school. Where are those students? They must be tangatangering in the cities and the villages, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, if this matter is not arrested as fast as possible, the crisis could get bigger than this, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there are sectors in this country that you can experiment with. But there are sectors also that you cannot do experiment on it. The education sector is an example, and the health sector. Because those things affect the ordinary citizens. Madam Speaker, we must bring to the attention of this House that this crisis of high monumental, and if this House does not come up with a resolution on how to deal with this matter, this country is going to get into a serious crisis that they may not be able to handle in the future. I know the way Honorable Kaluma said, majority of members here have their children in private schools, and some of them don't give birth anymore because they're old people. And some of them have gone to university and finished. They are elders here, and others have taken to private school. Madam Speaker, the ordinary Kenyan there is suffering. The ordinary Kenyan there does not understand what CBC means. I was in a school in my constituency the other day, last parliament, and I was told they had been taken to a bus, they had been taken to an animal farm so that the students can familiarize themselves with animals, with goats, cows, and chicken. Those villagers know those things. That is their way of life. Madam Speaker, if you look at the proportion of teachers to students in every CBC class, Madam Speaker, you'll be shocked. So, Madam Speaker, I want to urge from both sides of the House that we must take action as fast as possible. And I think, as the chairman has said, a solution might not be to go back to the 844 system that we all went through, even though that was the real CBC, Madam Speaker. This CBC, we used to make aeroplanes with papers. You remember, Madam Speaker? Unless you are, I'm sure you are young, you are not old, Madam Speaker. So you remember those things. So, Madam Speaker, if action is not taken, I'm repeating for the last time in my conclusion, Madam Speaker, let me not say that, but action must be taken and Kenyans must be saved from this issue of CBC once and for all. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you for keeping it short. If we do that, many of us will get a chance to speak. Honorable Robert Mbui, member for Kathiani.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity for also getting to contribute to this very, very serious motion. Madam Speaker, any country that wants to grow and to progress obviously has to invest heavily in education. I mean, some of the countries that were